I'm Christian Wright reporting here for GIB Radio. I'm with Mario Ramos GFSA chairman. Vale, Mario, can you give us a brief history on the situation regarding these, fishermen coming in over the border?
Well, it goes back to the early 90s when, shortly after the frontier opened, we started seeing this sort of a slow influx of Spanish fishermen. And, obviously we all told the government about it. And when we had a change of government in 96, we still carried on dealing with the government. I mean, the Federation has always been a non-political association. So, we never went to oppositions or anything, just kept dealing with the government. But after 14 years, early 2010, it became transparent that the government had no intention of doing anything about it. I mean, they knew about the problems because as far back as 2000, in the GSD manifesto, there was a section saying that they will introduce licenses to curtail the Spanish anglers taking all our coastline with multiple rods. We are in 2011, nothing has been done. So, and the thing is that come early 2010, we said, look, enough is enough. We're just being messed about. So we said, we'll go straight at the government. We came up with what we called the 10 red lines, which were the 10 most important points that we had to deal with. I mean, we had a list of 29 points, but we just picked out the top 10, put it like that. And we presented it to the Chief Minister. That was in February 2010. First thing he says, I don't accept this, I don't accept this, I don't accept this, which emphasizes what we've been saying all along. We've just been messed about, and he had no intention whatsoever of doing anything about it. And the thing is, the first line of defense of the Chief Minister, this is politically motivated. How can he say that when for the last 14 years we've been dealing exclusively with the government, having meetings with Brito, Holiday, Beltran, Chief Minister himself, without including opposition or anything? Now, come early 2010, when we decided to put pressure on the government, we used our democratic rights, because we live in a democracy. Well, people might not think so, but we live in a democracy, and we said, look, we've got to get as much public support as possible. We had, we put out list for signatures. We got something like 2,300 signatures, which we presented to the government. Made no difference. We approached the present opposition party, also the PDP, and we presented these two parties, not with the 10 red lines, but with the 29 points that we had. And in most of them, they agreed on our stand. Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, we want to control our environment, we want to control what's happening in the sea in general. It's ridiculous, they're coming spear fishing. In Spain, they've got laws to how much fish they can spear. Here, there's free for all, as we always say. Yeah. They come and they shoot and shoot and shoot. Fishermen are the same. They take, there's no laws as regards minimum size of fishes, so they come and they take whatever they want. This goes on, and we can really tell that our stocks have been decimated. Fish like the robal and that, which were abandoned by the mackerel bank called Las Secas. They've been hammering that place so much. They were coming, catching the bass, putting in their own websites, distributing with their own friends. This is how you fish in Gibraltar. This is what you got to do. This is what you go. And they were fishing day and night, and it still goes on. Because now that it's summer and we cannot fish on the beaches, which is quite acceptable, the few remaining areas are mostly taken up by Spaniards at the time. You go down to Roches, lots of Spaniards. If you go down past both worlds, the bottom of the motorcycle, but it's an island there, there's rods there 24 hours a day. All they do is the individuals change. It must be families, some go, some come, but they're fishing there because they're catching giltheads. And they keep hammering the giltheads every time the shoal goes past, and they're selling them. Maybe they're unemployed or whatever, but we can't sustain that kind of thing. So something's got to be done. And unfortunately, the way this government has gone, I don't think this government will ever do anything. Quite recently, we had something that we're going to introduce fishing permits or something like that. For the start, since we put pressure on the government in February 2010, we've been absolutely ignored. They came up with a consultation paper, which was shoddy done. There was about 2/3 of the consultation paper was very detailed as far as tobacco was concerned, but spearfishing and angling was done briefly. We know who were the ones who advised it, but we say that those people who advise the Chief Minister are not qualified to the same extent as we are. Yeah. There might be anglers, one of them might be an angler, the other one is a part-time angler, but they cling on to the Chief Minister, oh, this is what you do, with hidden interest. I'm not afraid to say that, because they are the sort of people who will stick to the government in place for their own benefits. So, we can't contain that sort of thing.
Do you think there's been enough awareness raised amongst the population in Gibraltar as to this issue, other than just the signatures and stuff like that? Do you think people really understand what's going on?
See, I think most people do. I mean, some people who are not into fishing or whatever, they couldn't care less sort of thing. They say, they're fishing. But those, like our members, we've got over 600 members, they're fully aware of what's going on. And they know that nothing's going to get done. And like I was saying earlier on, which I didn't finish, not so long ago we heard something that permits were going to be introduced. Well, again, this looks to us like a vote-catching exercise. Because if they haven't been, we've been dealing with them for the last 14 years and they've said no. Now this year when we're going to have an election, we're going to, but not only that, like I mentioned, since February last year, they have totally ignored the Federation. The consultation paper was done without consulting the Federation. Now we hear they're going to put license without consulting the Federation. Basically, that's like saying, like Chief Minister saying, I'm going to introduce new football rules, new hockey rules, new basketball rules, but I won't consult the GFA, I won't consult the GHA, I won't consult GABA. And they're not consulting us. I think at the end of the day, they should know that we are experienced enough to know what we are talking about. It's not just the angling, it's the environment, the whole ecosystem that goes with it.
And can you say there's a definite link between the scuba diving influx from Spain and the fishermen coming in, the sort of lack of control?
Well, the scuba diving, I don't know. For a start, I don't know if they've got a license to do it in Gibraltar, because they're a Spanish club, a Spanish sub-aqua organization or whatever. They come on a daily basis to Cambay. They take up a lot of parking spaces, even to the point where I've seen it myself. They put the loading up van on the handicap parking at the Cambay. They come there and the one in charge shows the divers all our facilities, toilets, showers, changing rooms, and they're not leaving anything in the economy. All I think that they leave in the economy is actually the fuel that they put before they go back to Marbella. So, and I mean, they're diving there till about 2:30, 3 o'clock every day, in amongst all the divers. I'm sure the people that normally frequent Cambay, they can't be all that happy, because with all these people up and down with all these bottles and all the equipment and all that, so nothing's done about it. There's no law for anything. Sabak, there's no law. Spear fishing, there's no law. Angling, there's no law. I mean, in Spain, if you want to do spear fishing, you've got to have a medical, you've got to have a license, you've got to be insured. And on top of that, you've got regulations of the amount of fish that you can actually spear. They come to Egypt, free for all. They dive off Europa Point, and the ones who are coming across are not amateurs. Some of them are very good divers. They can dive down to 30 meters, so if they go down and there's 4 meros or groupers, they'll shoot them all. It's not that they can take one. No, they just clean as much as they can, and there's no control.
Well, no, thank you very much. This has been Christian Wright from GIB Radio.